Hi, everyone. It is Alaina Shear, your candidate for U.S. House District 12 in Ohio. We have a momentous occasion tonight. Yesterday, on Sunday, for the first time since this campaign began, we had some major media coverage on local TV. And I wanted to watch this epic interview of myself and Troy Balderson with all of you, and also with my friends from Positively Blue in Dublin, Ohio. And these are amazing women who have been organizing and volunteering and working to, change the future of our state and the country for for a few years now, since 2016. But the things to note in this interview and in this media coverage, I am running against a sitting congressman, Troy Balderson. This is the first major TV interview he has given since our campaign really took off, right? So keep that in mind when you watch this. And just to let you all know the state of the race, it is extremely competitive. In fact, it looks like we can flip this district for the first time in 37 years. And, we're all experiencing COVID-19 on every level and every facet of our lives. So it makes it pretty shocking to watch this from a sitting congressman. But let's go ahead and pull everybody up. Tara, hello. Stephanie, Sandy, how are you guys doing?
Great.
Okay, so you three, Tara, you got to unmute. There you go.
Hi there.
So you three have not seen this interview yet. Are you ready to watch it?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and share the stream. Let me just find the video. How are you guys doing tonight? Are you excited?
Yes,
are you excited to have our first media coverage?
Right.
Okay, let's go ahead and share this. Okay, share audio. And everybody who's watching, welcome. Okay, I'm going to see how this goes. We're going to watch a little ad first.
From Laser Measure or in Columbus, Ohio. This is NBC4.
Can you guys hear it?
Yes.
In Marshall.
Ohio is finding itself to be a battleground state once again, with just 16 days until the election. Welcome to the Spectrum. I'm Colleen Marshall. Some political strategists, even
I love
some of the guests on this show,
I love Colleen too.
is likely to stay red after President Trump's win in 2016 and GOP officials swept the statewide midterms in 2018. But new polls this week have the president and former Vice President Biden neck and neck here in the Buckeye State. So we peered into the crystal ball, a comprehensive, nonpartisan analysis of the race nationwide, and a look at the impact Ohio can make next month. Our Matt Barnes has the story.
Where do you see the state of the race right now in Ohio? Because we know what happened 4 years ago, President Trump winning it by 8 points. The polling doesn't seem like it's going that way this time.
It seems like the state's legitimately pretty close, and I think that the campaigns are behaving as though it is close.
Kyle Kondik is an Ohio native and managing editor of Sabado's Crystal Ball, a nonpartisan newsletter on American campaigns and elections. He's been helping them project elections since 2011, and as of now, he thinks the Buckeye State is a toss-up.
There's been a lot of indication from operatives on both sides that the president's numbers in a lot of suburban areas in Ohio just aren't as good as they were in.
I love how he's talking about this as if it's not something that we all already know.
Yeah.
We've been paying attention.
We'll hear it. We live it.
We live it. We know it, Kyle Kondik. You got to get to Ohio, man. Come on.
In 2016. And I think particularly you may see that in sort of highly educated and affluent suburban areas that used to be Republican, and maybe still are, but just aren't as Republican as they used to be. It's a great place to look would be the northern Franklin County suburbs, southern Delaware County, all of those places that have kind of a lot of white-collar professionals are growing pretty quickly. We saw some erosion for the president in those places in 2016 compared to how Republicans typically did in those places. We're probably going to see even more.
Current polls have the race as a virtual tie in Ohio, but the polls said the same thing in 2016 when Trump went on to win by 8 points.
The difference just nationally and in Ohio too between how Hillary Clinton performed in 2016 and how Joe Biden is polling now is just that Joe Biden is overperforming with white voters. Clinton lost the state because she got crushed in rural, small town, medium-sized city areas. And I think the key for Biden and his path to victory in the state is if these improvements with white voters are real. If the polls are understating Trump with white voters in any way, you would at least expect Trump to carry Ohio.
What do you guys think is going to happen?
White suburban housewives, we're making the difference.
Yeah, I think they're painting the suburbs a little whiter than they actually are, too.
Definitely.
Yes. I don't think there's a glare on my face, but yeah.
Yeah.
Another
Right?
race in the state he is watching
I'm
closely.
assuming that, like, you know.
Lighting. But I think honestly for me, I knew a lot of people that stayed home in 2006 people of color because they just weren't completely on board with Hillary, even though our family loved Hillary. But I knew a lot of people that didn't necessarily like the Clintons, and they honestly just didn't think that Trump was going to win. So they didn't feel that it was necessary to come out. So I know, I've been really trying to motivate a lot of people, in my circles. And I think the turnout for people of color is also going to be higher.
Yeah. Okay, this is the part where they dive into our beautiful gerrymandered jalapeno pepper.
Mostly, it's the congressional race in District 12, where incumbent Republican Troy Balderson is being challenged by Democrat Alaina Shearer.
That's a district that Donald Trump won by about a dozen points in 2016, but it does also cover some of the affluent, highly educated suburban areas that have been sort of drifting away from the Republicans in the Trump era. I don't think Joe Biden probably won't win Ohio 12, but he might come really close to it. And if he does, that would, I think that would endanger Balderson. Just because we don't have as much ticket splitting maybe as we used to, and if Biden were to win Ohio 12, which is not out of the question, that could really endanger Balderson.
As of now, Kondik and his team label the District 12 race as a likely Republican, but as with all of the races from the House to the Senate and the president, they are watching the numbers closely and changing their projections accordingly.
And I gotta say, Kyle Kondik, I love you. Please look at our race and change your projections. Rachel Bithofer has us as a toss-up, and she's incredible and called more 2018 House races than many pollsters. So we also have internal polling showing us winning by 4.5 points. That's what it's looking like right now. So
That's awesome.
yeah. Okay, you ready for this?
I am. I'm excited.
Reporting for the Spectrum, I'm Matt Barnes.
Likely Republican is an apt description of Ohio's District 12. It hasn't had a Democrat in office since Bob Szymanski lost to John Kasich back in 1982. Kasich was followed by Pat Tiberi, who was followed by the current Republican office holder, Troy Balderson, 2 years ago. But Democrat Alaina Shearer is giving Balderson a challenge. This morning, we want you to hear from both of them, starting with the current office holder.
We have set a great example here in the 12th Congressional District. We have worked very hard. We've been relentless. I have assembled a team, and elected officials talk about it all the time. I. This isn't about I. This is not about just me. It's about a team that we have assembled. We are customer service driven and oriented, and the team that I've put in place,
What? Customer service? Really? I think we want a little more than customer service, Troy.
The guy who hid in the corner in his office says he's customer service driven. That's a good one.
know that, and they understand that. And we've been relentless in the district. The other thing, Colleen, for me is, everyone's tired of all the rhetoric, and including me. And I always have been tired of the rhetoric. So we're about results. So it's results versus rhetoric. And, we're priding ourselves on that. We're working very hard. For the campaign several weeks ago now, we started, 50 days, 50 results through the campaign, and we're talking about that.
Okay, what's 50 results?
What is that? What's that mean?
Yeah.
I know. if you on his Twitter account, on his Facebook, they have a social media series called 50 Days, 50 Results, and they started at 48 days until the election, so it came a few days late, but that's what he's talking about. And yeah, he still hasn't mentioned COVID-19.
No.
And rhetoric. Who's got the rhetoric? Yeah.
I think he means that I am filled with rhetoric, which is
Oh no. No.
Oh,
We're
wow.
tired of rhetoric, but not yours.
Yeah. I'll give him some examples. Yeah, if you need some.
Things have you been working on in Washington that you think are of the utmost importance for your district?
Jobs in the economy. I am fortunate and blessed to be on the Small Business Committee. That's a committee that doesn't get a lot of attention under normal circumstances. Obviously, we're not under normal circumstances, and to be able to be on that committee during a time like this has been an honor for me. We have been very busy. The Small Business Committee has been one of the most busiest committees in Congress, dealing with the payroll protection, the loans, and making sure that first CARES package that we got out.
which was put forth by Democrats. Just no
Right.
Yeah. Did he vote for the CARES package?
He did vote for it. Yes,
Okay.
he voted against the HEROES Act, though.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the small businesses, of course, the Small Business Committee is slammed right now because in Delaware, 20% are already closed permanently.
Right.
So to make sure that we keep this economy going and to make it strong as it was in January.
Your opponent has said she's running quite a bit on healthcare issues. Republicans have promised the alternative to Obamacare. They've been promising it for a decade. When are we going to see the Republican plan?
Good question.
I'd love to see that plan too, Colleen. And I think there's plans out there right now, and there are plans out there that I have supported. We have associated healthcare plans that are out there right now. Unfortunately, it's tied up in court right
He hasn't seen the plan.
There is
No
no.
one has.
There are
No
plans.
one has.
What plans?
The plan is written in invisible ink. That's what the plan's written in.
Plan, but he is part of the Trump administration's initiative to completely throw away the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
With no.
Uh,
No plan.
He's part of that. He's a proponent of that. He wants that. And, it's interesting that if you want something and you're pushing for something, you can't just stand up and say, like, we understand your actions. Fine. You've taken these actions, Troy. You have voted against lowering prescription drug costs. You are an active participant in this administration. You vote with Trump 95% of the time. At least own it and be passionate about it, or tell us why you're doing that. He can't even do that. It's really shocking. So listen to what he gets into here. See if this makes sense.
right now. But that's something that business owners really like. It's pulling businesses together so they can lower their costs and lower the premiums. This is something that I've been working on for several years before I even got to Congress, of carrying that idea. I'm also very active with the HSA, the health savings accounts. Something that I've worked with and have done before. I love those. Who better to be in charge of someone's healthcare than the individual themselves? I love having the ability to do my own healthcare and take care of myself. And I think that's where that responsibility should be put. I want to continue working on drug pricing. That's been a conversation. Colleen, it was a conversation back in the state legislature as well too. And we're going to continue working on that.
We are doing very well right now. This is, first of all, the most amazing experience to be running for Congress in a district that I love so much during a time when the people of this district need true leadership. And I've also got 4 kids running around, and it's an indescribable experience. It does appear that we are headed for a win on November 3rd. It's going to be a tough fight, though, so all hands on deck.
You say it appears you're headed for a win. What polling is showing you that?
We have internal polls showing that so long as our messaging gets out and to our audience, to the voters of this district, they choose me over my opponent. And so now it's just a matter of getting those ads up on the air. So you're going to see a lot of those soon. You'll see all of our hard work over this past year come to fruition online and on broadcast. This is weird watching myself, by the way.
Well, I think what's apparent really, first off is that, Troy feeling like he's got this in the bag. I mean, he's not trying to appeal to anyone additional other than his base. He knows that he doesn't have to. So I think it's refreshing for you relating to, people that might not want to vote for Troy this time around. So you're giving them an option and you're actually appealing to their human nature and saying, okay, here's what's going on in real life. And, I see that and I feel that and I hear that. And, I want to be a part of your life. So that's definitely connecting right away.
I'm still struggling to figure out what he meant by taking care of your own health.
I think he's talking about the HSA plans and managing, your own budget, and those don't work if you don't have a good healthcare plan. Right. And then he's alluding to, if the Affordable Care Act goes away, it's a free for all. You've got to find your own healthcare plan, and that doesn't address the skyrocketing costs of healthcare. It's almost over. So,
being a breast cancer survivor,
what issues are you focusing?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, being a breast cancer survivor and I'm, having a pre-existing condition, where's the answer to that? I mean, they're huge for hundreds of thousands of people. So
who's not a pre-existing condition at this point in their life?
True. It's true, especially with the long-term effects of COVID. If there's so many more of us who could have pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
John, that you think the people in your district care most about?
The biggest issue for all of us right now is COVID, not just the lack of containment. There's a lack of a containment strategy, but also the economic fallout. It is affecting every single family I know. And the thing is that even before COVID hit, what happened? It decided to stop. Oh no! Oh no!
live TV. It's bad.
Even before COVID, it goes away.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I want you to hear the very end, but essentially, here I think I can get there. Hold on.
There.
Okay. Let's see. Somebody in the comments, Cindy, don't get complacent. We have to keep pushing through November 3rd. I feel you, Cindy. Believe me, we are not. We are still, we're going to run to the bitter end as hard as we can.
Run through the tape.
Number one, no containment strategy. Number two, the economic fallout that's going to hit our hardworking families and businesses so hard. And then on top of all of it is healthcare. People are so concerned about their healthcare bills hitting them during this time. And, I have experience with that. My son broke his arm last summer. The bill on top of our premium was $13,000 for a broken arm. My dad was a doctor. He would have had a heart attack if you'd have told him that it would cost that much. So, you're not alone. None of us, I'm talking to you viewers, you're not alone. If you're facing these skyrocketing costs individually as families, we got to figure this out.
Well, is it time to adjust your family's fight?
So there's a part that we missed where I talk about the average amount of debt that Americans have right now. And for a family with a joint income of $98,000, the amount of personal debt on top of a mortgage is $92,000. That was in the Wall Street Journal a few weeks ago, and so people are starting to slip behind on their bills. And what I am going to fight for on day one is a COVID containment strategy, because without that, we can't get anywhere, and the economy can't recover. But as far as healthcare, the Affordable Care Act and Joe Biden's plan, I love it. I love how it caps out-of-pocket costs, lowers prescription drug costs, and rapidly expands Medicare and Medicaid. So ultimately, it's not perfect, and it wasn't when Trump took office, but they've been bludgeoning it to death. They've been just crushing it and destroying it, and we have to improve upon it, and healthcare can't be partisan. Anyway, right. I can go off on a tangent, but so
me too.
That is, there you have our current sitting congressman. He had one other interview with the Dispatch, which he ended abruptly. He ended the interview when they asked about Trump's handling of the pandemic.
Really?
That's his style, isn't it? Like to run away?
Yeah.
That's his style.
And it's a crisis right now. We need leadership. We need our congressmen to step up and be a voice for the people of this district. And it's heartbreaking. This is a narrow race. We have polls showing us ahead if voter turnout continues to be what it is. So it's so important to just keep getting the vote out, ladies. Keep working.
Yeah. And everyone needs to realize how important it is to vote all the way down the ballot, because the people in your district that represent you are the most important people as far as what happens in your future.
Yes, exactly. If you guys, do you have anything for our viewers on how to go vote and make sure they get out there and vote, or anything that you've done as a volunteer on a campaign that you found immensely gratifying? Maybe we can convert some of our viewers to volunteer for the campaigns.
Sandy, you start.
Well, I talk to as many voters as I can, although in COVID, that's pretty challenging. But I will say that I've even popped into a store to exchange something or run a quick errand with my vote mask on. And I have people that work in the store. I'll be in the store maybe 10 minutes and I'll have multiple people come up and ask me about voting. First-time voters, people that are excited because they're going to work the polls because the company will pay them to. I really think there's a lot of excitement out there. And just everyone needs to use their right to vote this year. They really need to not stay home. They need to be in the game.
Yes.
There's a few things that we've been pushing in our Positively Blue newsletters and meetings. Just, candidates still need money, even though it's close. So if even $5-10, and you can still donate and you aren't tapped out, they still need a little money to get through the end here. And then, I've been handing out sample ballots at the voting centers in Delaware and Franklin County, just handing out sample ballots. And, people are so appreciative because the judges are on there, which is super important that we know which judges to vote for. So getting that information out to the voters is great. There's so many things that we still can be doing by doing lit drops for candidates you support, handing out signs, doing phone banking, even, postcarding here at the end. There's still some people getting postcards out. So, there's a whole bunch of things that we can still do for the next couple weeks here.
Yeah. And the goal here is to wake up on November 4th and know that you did everything you could. At least for me, that's my goal. And to win and flip this district. And yes, you're right. Donate to campaigns. We still do need to keep the fuel in the tank. We have to finish strong because there's a huge amount of people who will be voting on November 3rd, and we still need to reach them. Mm-hmm. As you can see, this is our first media coverage in a significant way of this campaign, which is astonishing. It's a congressional seat. It can flip. So it's up to us to get the word out. So one thing you guys can do if you're watching is share this post, like this post, and get loud on social media. Demand answers from your sitting representatives. This is unacceptable.
Right. Talk to your friends about voting. Make sure that everyone in your family gets out and does their part to vote.
Oh, one last thing. Troy did agree to debate me. Yes. And of all of the date options, you will not be surprised to hear he chose October 30th, which is the latest possible date.
Right.
It's still a debate, though. So tune in on October 30th. It will be broadcast on PBS. I believe it's the Columbus Metropolitan Club. If you want to Google it, we will be, of course, sharing that link out and announcing it.
Alaina, I did want to say one thing, because what helped me, especially with you, is going to the website and looking at your platform. So I think it's not just fluff with you. You do have a lot of experience. So you're not just speaking from, oh yeah, this is what I've seen and I'm not happy with it. You've actually built a business and, during a time where the economy was low, and then, made that work and made that profit. So you're speaking from a place of truth and testimony. So there's a lot of value in that. So I think, I definitely encourage people to go actually on the website and inform themselves and then help inform others as well. So
yes. Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. I think it's hard to remind myself too, if it's a Facebook Live event or anything, people watching may have no idea who I am and I have to reintroduce myself every time. But you can find so much on our website. It's alaina2020.com. Please, donate what you can, chip in anything, you guys. It helps. We're 100% people powered, so I will be accountable only to you, not to corporations like Troy Balderson is right now. That's why he votes the way he does. He's voting for the health and the insurance companies, big pharma companies who fund his campaign. Sleep well. We're going to win.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.